I did a few videos on what life has been like um, being stalked and assaulted by strangers as a result of fair game and as a result of going to the Celeb Center years ago after seeing commercials on Dianetics on television. I have some afterthoughts. I just wanted to put out there. It's embarrassing having to deal with this cult and having to talk about being terrorized when you're trying to go to work, when you're trying to go to the grocery store, when you're trying to go jogging, when you're on crutches as a result of being stalked and terrorized and assaulted by this cult. And I know some people are really big on delivery and sounding perfect and looking perfect and not getting upset, and I get that. I get it. But just I just want to say that a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have never ever talked about what was going on. I was very, very ashamed, and I blamed myself. I always prayed that when I got a job that they wouldn't come for me, they wouldn't start spreading rumors about me, they wouldn't try to get me fired, and I always held my head in shame for the slander. You know, they slander you and they turn people against you, and those people don't realize what's going on. When Scientology contracts out these corrupt investigators and has these members from fair game, everybody's complying with the corruption and the terrorism, domestic terrorism. But I gotta tell you, people are really getting tired of corruption. People are seeing right through the corruption, and they're learning who the sources are of the corruption. It doesn't matter if it's the cult. It doesn't matter if it's what's going on in our world. Our president is faced with corruption every day. These devils are clawing away at him, and when I say something like that, it sounds like so outrageous, so over the top, so unrealistic, so superstitious. And I gotta tell you, that's not even half of it. It is real. The evil out there is real. And these people who are so evil, who have this fake facade, that smile and try to become, charismatic, and, they can talk the talk. But when it comes to fulfilling that talk with action, it doesn't happen. A lot of other stuff happens that they're not going to tell you they're doing behind the scenes that has a lot to do with trafficking, stealing from, citizens, governors mismanaging funds. They're neglecting their cities, their people. Governors who are corrupted. There's a lot of corruption going on, and when I have to get emotional about the corruption I've been bull rushed with, it's not, I am gonna apologize. Some people would say I'm not gonna apologize for crying or maybe having snot come out of my nose, and the delivery doesn't sound perfect. I have to tell you, to those who do get offended, I am sorry, because it's not a pretty sight to see, and it's not something we want to hear. It doesn't even sound believable. It sounds completely insane, and I get that. I would think the same thing. But all I'm going to say is, I am a person. Our president has to carry a certain amount of professionalism when he's under a lot of stress and he's being attacked. And I wish he could just tell those left satanic pedophiles, which is what they are, traffickers, murderers. I wish he could just call them out, but he can't. I can. I'm not a celebrity. I can. And so sometimes when I get angry about the corruption I'm going through, and I get upset, and I think about the corruption our president's going through, because the stalking and the gang stalking is correlated directly with gang stalking. Gang stalking is to protect the agenda, which is communism, whatever, money laundering, and pedophilia. Trafficking and pedophilia, that's the main reason why Hollywood is so upset with Trump, is because he didn't sell out. He didn't sell out. They couldn't turn him out. Alright, so we have somebody who does what he needs to do, and he tries to do the right thing. And people who don't understand what's going on in this world right now don't realize that, because they're fed a lot of fake news. But there's going to come a day, because our president's popularity is growing. People are catching on to what's going on. And not only is our president's popularity growing because people are becoming more aware, but as it grows, people are going to start thanking God for our president, because if it wasn't for him, we would be in a world of trouble right now. Had Hillary won, we would have been in New World Order a long time ago. So when I talk about these things that happen to me and how it directly correlates with the rest of the corruption that's going on with gang stalking, it's the same thing as Antifa, except Antifa openly destroys communities, businesses, and individuals. Gang stalking does the same thing, but they target an individual. And it's mobs of people throughout the city who have this target's address, where they shop, where they work. There's gang stalkers that they have set out throughout the city. They have certain posts that they hang out at, certain intersections, certain freeway exits. So if a target drives by, that gang stalker follows. I had a talk with a gang stalker who is paid by Scientology $100 a day. I've talked with a few of them because when they're stalking me, sometimes, I just start talking to them like I'm their friend. I get information. I have one of those conversations recorded, and I'll play that in the future. But I just want to say that, when I'm talking about what I go through, I do get emotional. I do kind of maybe talk fast, and I can't help it, because when you're going through a situation where you're being terrorized, you've never been terrorized before, let alone for 15 years straight, it's going to be really hard on someone to open up about that, let alone talk about it on a very public forum. And I don't have really any followers. I have some, and I don't have a large number of followers. I don't know how that works on social media. I'm barely learning social media because I've been a victim of stalking for so long. So I sometimes don't know how to tweet right, or I don't know how to put a GIF on there, or whatever it's called. But with that being said, some people may get turned off when I talk about these stories, but these are real, they're raw. It's very hard to talk about without crying, without reliving what I've gone through. So, am I like that all the time? No. I'm quite the opposite. But it's very scary when you don't have no one to turn to. You don't have the police to turn to. Because this criminalistic organization is ran by the mob. You have Miscavige and Tom Cruise, who came together with the mob. And behind that organization is trafficking. Nicole Kidman, for example, her father is a huge trafficker. I think he passed away, but she's a part of it. Yeah, our celebrities, a lot of our celebrities are doing the unthinkable crimes. And unless you're doing or you're part of that, you're not going to become a major celebrity. That's how this works. And that's why people in the industry do not like our president. They try to smear him in the media with fake news and lies and slander and with these witch hunts and a bunch of crap. And they try to brainwash America. They don't want America knowing that our president is the best thing that's happened to our country, let alone the world. So these videos aren't going to be pretty when I talk about what happens or what has happened. But with that being said, currently I am scared for my life. I am worried. The assaults have gotten more aggressive. They start stalking me as soon as I leave my door, because I have Scientologists that live here. So they have surveillance to me. They know when I'm walking down the hall. I don't know if it's because of the cameras from the apartment complex, or they have maybe separate surveillance. Like somebody has these fake plants in front of her house, her door, which could be surveillance. But they know when I'm leaving the building, and when I'm getting in my car and it starts. I just don't know if I'm going to get assaulted that day, or if I'm going to get ran off the road, or I don't know what's going to happen. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And not only that, but when I talk about this, it sounds insane. I know that. But anybody who's dealt with this cult, when they talk about what this cult does, what they're about, it sounds completely psychotic. It sounds sociopathic, and it's all of that. You got corruption of power that is tripping so hard and is so paranoid. This fake religion is so paranoid. They have hired gang stalkers, hired domestic terrorists like Antifa, tearing up the community by brainwashing Scientology members with fair game. And fair game means if they consider you a suppressive person by going against the church or not wanting to join the church, or whatever the case may be, they send people who are paid out in the community, waiting in certain parts of town. They know you're gonna run through. If they know your routine, they're gonna have people waiting. They're gonna have people waiting outside your house to start stalking you, to start harassing you, to sabotage where you work, sabotage your contacts on your phone. They hack into your phone. They have cell phone jammers where if you're trying to call the cops or you're trying to take pictures, they will jam your phone. They do everything illegal under the sun to tear down and destroy a target, and that's part of their so-called cult religion. Fair game means they can destroy a target, kill a target, make a target become handicapped. They can get that target evicted with slander and lies, and they all work together to do it, and they all work together to cover it up, so none of them are accountable. All the evidence is swept underneath the carpet. That's what fair game means. And there's people with certain ranks in that cult that can kill a person, and if they want to kill a person, it's going to be covered up. This is why this cult is such a detriment to our community, and it's ran by the mob. They make most of their money trafficking. They're multi-billions trafficking. So we got a huge concern on our hands that is connected to Hollywood and pedophilia and trafficking. But Scientology is brainwashing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to become a domestic terrorist. And to make our communities satanic. The more they make our communities satanic, the less people are going to understand what God is, what Jesus Christ, how important Jesus Christ is, and how they're trying to take over the world. So, with that being said, when I talk about it, it sounds insane. So all I can really advise is to kind of watch Leah Remini on Joe Rogan, or watch Joe Rogan interview David Miscavige, his dad. David Miscavige runs Scientology, and Tom Cruise kind of does too. Traffickers, pedophiles. And you'll see on Joe Rogan, David Miscavige's dad wrote a book about how dangerous this cult is, how it needs to be shut down. And the stories he talks about with Joe Rogan sounds insane. It sounds like this is completely insane. In fact, this guy's insane, because if he's saying this, it can't be true because it sounds too insane. Well, this is exactly why the cult needs to be shut down. They have a tax-exempt status. They're trafficking. They're creating domestic terrorists out of their members to fight their battles, so that their precious trafficking and money-making activities will be kept safe. You know, if you're pointing fingers in opposite directions as, oh, this person needs to be watched, this person needs to be stalked, while this organization is trafficking. And I think John Travolta's, did his wife die? And did she really die? If she died, if she passed away, Kelly Preston, did she really die from destined or natural causes? Because I think last time I heard Leah Remini talk, she said John Travolta has a rank in Scientology where if he wanted to kill someone, it would be swept underneath the carpet by fellow Scientologists and the police. The police back this cult. If somebody from this cult breaks the law, kills somebody, the police sweeps it under the carpet. And that's another reason our community is in trouble, because we have a lot of high-ranking police officers who are Scientologists who pass this indoctrinated rule, whatever you want to call it, from that cult into the inner workings of the police. So what was once the police as we know it becomes something else when it's infiltrated by the mob, cult, criminalistic organization known as Scientology. So we have problems. We have problems. So try to catch Joe Rogan interview Leah Remini, and try to catch Joe Rogan interviewing David Miscavige's dad, because when David Miscavige's dad talks about how he had to escape and the lengths these monsters went through to catch him, or try to catch him. I mean, they will GPS your car, they will hack your phone, they will have people break into your house and destroy your clothes. They'll try to bug your radio, whatever. Put mini, what are those called? Pinhole cameras in your apartment. I mean, so Trump has a lot of dirt and garbage he's trying to clean through. And us as a nation need to wake up to the facts as to what is going on with the left and support our president. And make sure we vote Trump 2020. Or else the rest of America is going to be like Portland. It's going to be owned like by China. New World Order is going to kick in quicker than you can blink your eyes. And we're still going to have the coronavirus. It's probably going to get worse because thanks to the governor, corrupt governor, our state officials in Portland, Oregon, their coronavirus has I think went up 300% or something like that. I'm not sure on the percentage, but it's gone up quite significantly since they were trying to push that Antifa communist crap in Oregon. And the only reason they gave in to President Trump was because that disease was, they were causing this disease to spread like wildfire. This is what President Trump has to put up with. He has to micromanage these corrupt, satanic governors. Yes, they're satanic. They're communist. You'll see the true colors of who's what, how they respond to our president. You can see who's communist, who's not communist, who's with the mob. You know, you got Gavin Newsom, pedophile. Tom Cruise, pedophile. Tom Cruise was accused of raping a young actor. And when that actor spoke out, Tom Cruise had him put in jail. So, we have to support our president. We have to thank him on social media and remind him how much we love him or we care about him. We got to support Donald Trump Jr. And we have to protect our free speech. And Twitter tried to have him taken off Twitter or suspend him. And this is the president's son. So if they can do that to him, can you imagine, you know, what they really want to do if they could get their way? So we definitely have to support our president. And we're talking about a man who Hollywood has tried to control, tried to turn out. And Donald Trump's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to join your pedophile, blood drinking, baby murdering club. And I'm telling you, it drove them crazy that they couldn't turn our president out. And the man who has everything is fighting corruption. And we need to support him. And we need to thank God that we have him. So that's all I wanted to say. And I also wanted to say that I saw something on Twitter where Hannity, I know President Trump likes Hannity, but Hannity made a comment to Kylie, or is it Kylie? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. And he said they couldn't pay me any amount of money to do your job. And I have to tell you, she does a phenomenal job with the facts and handling those devil reporters when they want to be unprofessional or disrespectful. And I couldn't imagine anybody that can fill her shoes doing the job that she does. I gotta be honest with you. And I don't know why Hannity made that comment. But I gotta say, maybe you made that comment because you wouldn't actually be able to do her job. Maybe. I'm not saying for a fact. I'm just saying, you know, she has notes. They've had meetings. She's been briefed. She goes into a press conference with notes, and she kills it. And even those reporters that try to come for her, they can't even get near that. They can't get near her. She's 2 steps ahead of them, and then some. She does a phenomenal job. I watch her, and I don't get impressed with people easily. I'm very impressed by her, and she makes America very proud. And she represents the facts of what's going on in the press with our president. I can't imagine anybody else being able to do what she does. And our president does a phenomenal job, and I'm so thankful that his family is right there behind him. No family's perfect. They have disagreements like everybody else, but they stick together and they work together and they support each other. And I gotta tell you, at the end of the day, that's what God really wants and values in our families. Unfortunately, I come from a family where that's not really the case. So, you know, that's definitely something to strive for and to look forward to, you know, if I ever have my own family. But our president does lead by a great example. I'm very proud of him. And I'm thankful every day that we have him. If you can't see what's going on in our country, what's really going on, and see how hard our president's working, and the devils he has to put up with, you're not going to value what we have. I thank God every day. I even worry about 2024. Is he going to run again? Is he going to be well enough to want to run again, or even, because he has probably the most stressful job in the world. And then I started thinking, okay, well, we got to start training Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump Jr. ASAP. Because if there's not a Trump in office, I don't know. So let's pray for our president's health and our president's family and the administration. And QAnon, I love my Q, God-given Q. I always loved my anonymous. I always will love my anonymous, but now I especially love my Q. And I just want to remind anybody out there who's a part of that group. This goes out to Leah Remini. This goes out to Q, our president's administration and family. Please do not get into an autopilot car. Do not get into a Tesla or any autopilot car. Please do me that favor. And I will be making a new video tomorrow. I don't know if I really want to talk about the cult, but I'm going to be talking about some other things going on. And that is that.